Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kristin, and if you're new here, this is a corner of the interwebs where I come at you every week or so and share what I've been making. I do a lot of knitting, I do lots of crochet, there has been a heck of a lot of quilting, so if you are into all of that stuff, multi-craftual, you're in a good place. Gather around, grab a cup of something, and let's get into things. But before we get into things, just a couple of housekeeping notes. Just a quick word about my Instagram account being hacked. If you missed the video, I'll pop it up here and link to it down below. But yeah, my Instagram account at Voolenvine was hacked. It's no more, it's dead, it's gone. So I went ahead and started a new Instagram account at voolenvine.co. And I just want to say thank you so very much to anyone and everyone who decided to hop on over and follow that new account. And to everyone who made an announcement on their Instagram stories. Truly, you guys, I cannot thank you enough. You are, again, amazing, and I'm so truly appreciative and grateful to you guys. Yeah, because as I mentioned, I had made so many wonderful friends and connections through that past Instagram account. I partially grew Voolenvine yarns through that Instagram account. It was very special and I was very proud of it. But you know what? Things happen. You pick yourself up, you move on, and as Tim Gunn from Project Runway always says, make it work. Am I right? Yeah. So anyway, that said, let's move along to finished objects because, my friends, I have a finished object. Is this the right side? Yes, this is the right side. My Tineola shawl. She is done. She's all finished. She's off the needle. She's blocked. She's photographed. She's on Ravelry. She's on Instagram. She's done. This is the Tineola Shawl, a beautiful pattern by Ambah O'Brien. And as I mentioned, this is my very first Ambah O'Brien pattern that I've ever knit. And holy cow, guys, I am a fan. This was such a quick project to knit. And, you know, to be fair, it only uses half a skein. And the yarn that I'm using is Voolenvine Yarns, my hand-dyed yarn company, in the Gosling base. So I believe there's about, let me see, how many yards? I didn't have this memorized. There are about 437 yards or 400 meters per skein in my Gosling base. So it's 70% superwash merino, 20% baby alpaca, and 10% silk. So yeah, I'm loving this base, guys. And you know, again, it's always a risk when I introduce a new yarn base into my yarn shop, but you know, looking at the fiber content and, you know, the feel of the yarn and the skein, I got a good gut feeling about it. And I thoroughly, you know, not to toot my own horn, but I thoroughly enjoyed knitting with it. It just, you know, it's because of the alpaca and the silk, it's so like buttery, kitteny soft. And, you know, the silk, after this blocks out, it just has such a nice drape and such a nice hand. I mean, yeah. Love it. I love it so much. So she has you start out with some short row shaping. I don't know how well you can see. Yeah, along the neckline here, you can kind of see it. It starts off with some short row shaping along the neckline, and then she has you do these yarn overs to create the increases, which, if you are not familiar, Tineola is actually a breed or species, I think species is the word, species of moth. So I think what she was going for here are, you know, decorative moth holes, which I think is pretty brilliant because then it goes into the Tineola motif, which, as the name suggests, look like moths. I mean, they also kind of look like hearts too, or butterflies, which, yeah, I think is so pretty. It's so pretty. And yeah, I just thought it was a very clever construction, very easy breezy to knit, as I mentioned, and you know, again, another pattern that I thoroughly recommend. And when it came to blocking, I was pretty aggressive. So I, you know, used blocking wires, I used T-pins, and I put T-pins on each of these little holes over here. So yeah, you know, just popped on an audiobook and had at it. Let me try it on. I think my microphone is going to get muffled, so I apologize, but yeah, it's just a very simple, tiny shawlette that, you know, again, like normally I prefer my shawls to be a little bit longer, wider, but, you know, for fall, I think, you know, just popping this under a light jacket or coat, it's just, really, really sweet. I like it. So yeah, and again, this yarn, guys, so soft. You know, it doesn't have that itchy, scratchy feely that some yarns have. So this is very, very incredibly next to skin, which I'm very, very happy about. So yeah, that's what it looks like on. This is how I would wear it. But if you want to get a little, you know, fancy schmancy, if you know, just want something to decorate your shoulders with, you could do something like this. I feel very Victorian like this. I mean, it's just so pretty. Yeah, a really beautiful pattern. And again, I could totally see knitting this in a heavier weight yarn, like a DK or worsted weight to make it bigger, cozier, you know. But for, you know, chilly weather, for spring even, I could even, like, if some of you out there are getting married, I mean, what a beautiful wedding shawl this would make. I mean, yeah. So anyway, that is my finished Tineola shawl, another pattern by Ambah O'Brien. Actually, guys, I am loving the way it is going with this dress. Yeah, I'll just leave it on for the rest of the show because it's 65 degrees Fahrenheit right now. So yeah, we've been having some really crappy weather. By the way, yes, just a quick note. Yeah, over the weekend we had a pretty bad rainstorm, like New York in particular. It was very akin to Hurricane Ida, which, if you don't remember, was just so much rain all at once. New York's infrastructure could not handle that amount of water all at once, and consequently, our basement, back when we were living in Brooklyn, got flooded. I mean, thankfully it was manageable, but we got a significant amount of water down in that basement. And this previous storm was very, very similar to that. But thankfully our basement did not flood. We just got a nice little lake in our backyard. You know, I was very tempted to pop a kayak in it, but didn't get that bad. So yeah, thank you so much. I did receive a couple of messages from people asking, you know, how we were doing. Did we get flooded? Do we have any damage? And I'm happy to report that we were safe, we were dry, and I know there are some of you out there who were affected by it and were not so lucky. So, you know, I'm thinking about you guys. I hope you're recovering quickly and, you know, you're all safe. Please be safe, guys. Yeah, so anyway, thank you so much again for that. But yeah, so anyway, yes, what was I saying? Yeah, the weather. This week it's so nice. I mean, it's like perfect fall weather. Like, it's in the 70s, it's in the upper 60s. Yesterday it got into the 80s. So, you know, it's that Rhinebeck weather, if you will. Speaking of Rhinebeck, okay, just one more side note before I move on, because a lot of you were asking me if I'm going to Rhinebeck this year, and unfortunately, my friends, the answer is no. I'm not going to make it to Rhinebeck this year. For some reason, this month, Dennis and I just have a lot going on. We have some family stuff happening and, you know, just some stuff to take care of here. And yeah, it's a lot. So unfortunately, Rhinebeck is not in the cards for me this year. But, you know, I am so looking forward to keeping up with your posts on Instagram and seeing all of your beautiful Rhinebeck sweaters. And, you know, if I was going, my Kismet sweater would be my Rhinebeck sweater. So if you are going to Rhinebeck, have the best time. If you're vending, have the best show. Pet all the sheep for me, buy all the beautiful yarn, hug all your friends, and yeah, just have the best time. So yeah, no Rhinebeck for Kristin this year, but anyway, there's always next year. Am I right? Yes. So, okay, moving along. We have a finished Tineola. Yay. For my next project, I'm still working on my, what is it? The Merled Magic Shawl. I have not put a dent in this project since I last shared it with you. And that is because this kind of stole the show. I was just like, I want to get this off the needles because I was enjoying it so much. So I didn't get a chance to really work on my Merled Magic, but fret not, I'm gonna work on it. And I'll pull it out of here so you can see where we are, because yeah, it's growing. Guys, I'm not partaking in Stephen West's mystery knit along this year. I'm always tempted, believe me, I'm very tempted, but to be honest, I don't have the mindset for it this time around. I believe the first clue was revealed, and I did take a peek at the spoilers, and I'm still tempted. I'm still tempted. We shall see. We shall see, because it looks really cool. But yeah, I'm happily knitting away on this, and I'm so close to being done, guys. So let me see. This is, yeah, I think the third or second to last. I think this is the second to last section that I'm working on. So almost done with that. And then I have like another section to knit along here and another section to knit along here. And am I dropping my stitches? No, I'm not. Okay. It's big, guys. Yeah. So this is where I am with my Marled Magic, another pattern by Stephen West. Again, using all of my hand-dyed yarns, Voolenvine yarns. So yeah, I'll share this in the next episode. Hopefully I'll have another dent put in that for you, for me as well. But in the meantime, I did cast on believe it or not, I did cast on a sock. I know, it's been forever since I cast on a sock. My sock knitting mojo has just been down in the dumps, and to be fair, to be honest, it still kind of is, but I had some friends over for a knit yesterday, and because I'm at a point in my Marled Magic shawl where I kind of need to pay attention, with the decreases and moving on to the next section, I just cast on a sock. So here's my sock. Surprise, surprise. This is Voolenvine yarns in my Strangers with Candy colorway. This is my new Halloween colorway. Yeah, it's just a really fun combination of, neon orange, pinks, and, subtle, autumnal brown and gold speckles. And it just, yeah, it makes me so happy, guys. And this is on my footsie base, which is my, let me see, I believe it's a 75%, no, I'm sorry. It's an 80% superwash BFL, Blue Face Luster, and 20% nylon. So a perfect blend for knitting socks. And this is my free sock pattern. So it's called My Favorite Socks. I'll link to it down below. If you're not familiar, it is a free pattern of just how to knit some basic socks. I will say that there is a video tutorial that goes along with the pattern. So if you want to follow along with the pattern and the video at the same time, you can totally do that. I will say there is a discrepancy in the video. So if you are following along with the video and the pattern, go with the PDF pattern. That is correct. It's been tech edited. It's been, vetted and test knitted for all, incorrections. But if you are following along with the video, just know that once you get to the heel turn, this portion right here, where you have all these little short rows for the heel, that's your cue to follow along with the pattern, because I think I did mix up the stitch count at some point. I have to go back and figure out where it is, but just know that the pattern is correct. So yeah, that's where I am. I mean, I cast on the cuff, when was it? On Tuesday night. So I knit the cuff, and then while my friends were here, we're hanging out, we're chatting, knitting, I knit all the way to the heel flap. And then when I was done with work, I sat down, popped on a movie, and knit the heel flap. I turned the heel and then knit the gussets, and now I'm ready to knit the foot. So needless to say, I powered through this pretty quickly. For the needles, my go-to knitting needle size for socks is a US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter needle, and of course I'm using Hiya sharps, Hiya circulars, and of course I like using Magic Loop. What else do I want to say about this? Other than, yeah, again, my sock knitting mojo has kind of been non-existent, but when it comes to a project where I just want to be on autopilot, I want to be able to have a conversation with people, not have to look down at my hands, socks, man, they're my go-to. I love them. So yeah, and here's the yarn and the cake. Yeah, it's just such a happy Halloween color, guys. This is brighter than, this is kind of out of my comfort zone when it comes to colorways that I dye. Normally I go for the muted, moody shades, but I don't know, like lately I've been feeling the brights. I don't know what's happening to me, guys, but especially like the bright orange and pink combo, I'm here for it. So anyway, that is all the knitting content that I have to share with you this week. I am going to take this shawl off for now just because I'm going to have to move around and it's going to be a little inconvenient. So anyway, moving along to a segment that you're probably all hopefully excited to hear about, quilting, because clearly I have not been getting enough quilting in my life. I pretty much do some type of quilting every single day. It's a little bananas, but here we are. So, no surprise, I did finish another quilt top. I know, I'm crazy, guys. So anyway, I'm not sure if I talked about this on the last episode. Maybe I did, but she's finished. Apparently all of my quilts are female. I have no idea. I always call them she, but she's really beautiful, guys. I love her so much. So this is the Lady of the Lake quilt pattern by Missouri Star Quilt Company, and I should preface that by saying that Lady of the Lake is not a new pattern. It's a very traditional quilt block that has been around for many, many years. I want to say like the Victorian era, and there are lots of different versions of this quilt. And this happens to be Missouri Star Quilt Company's version, and that's the one that I made. And traditionally, this quilt is made using only 2 colors. So you have like either a white or a red or a white and a blue, just 2 different colors. And, you know, I went a little crazy and used not a charm pack, a layer cake, which is a collection of fabric of 10-inch squares, many different kind of pretty but wacky prints. Yeah, so here it is. It's done. It's huge. Yeah, and I'll get up so you can see. I still have to photograph this, but here she is. Yeah. Once again, too big to fit on the screen. So yeah, the fabric that I used is grammar, Kristin. The fabric that I used, again, it was a layer cake from, it was called Fancy Favorites. And I'm blanking on the designer's name, but I'll, you know, again, pop it in the down bar, all the information. Just really, really fun prints. Like, look at these gemstones. I love them. They really are fancy. And then, like, the really fun one that grew on me pretty quickly. Let me see, where is she? Yeah, I get these little flowers. But look at this. Look at these. They're like little Victorian shoes. They are so fun. Oh my gosh. And then, you know, I love this mustard gold color, and yeah, this block, like they're all like different blocks. Let me talk about how I arranged everything. So I've got a design wall on this wall over here. I'll turn the camera so you can see, and it's a mess, but this thing right here, this is my tiny but mighty design wall. Did not use it to make this quilt because, again, it is so small, and because I was working with so many different prints, it was hard for me to just see the whole picture. So I purchased and downloaded a program called EQ8. So it stands for Electric Quilt 8, and this is a program primarily used by quilt pattern designers. So, you know, it does a lot of the legwork for you. It allows you to make mock-ups and, you know, upload your fabric prints and everything. It's really genius and very, you know, like my mind was blown. And it, you know, it does require a learning curve. I have been watching, you know, like YouTube videos on how to use it. But what I mainly purchased it for was just to use it as a digital design wall, because again, you can upload your fabric prints into the software and use it to create quilt blocks and rearrange everything. It's really cool. So, you know, I got it for that, and, you know, I don't know. I'm not making any promises. I'm not committing to anything, but who knows? Maybe down the line I will endeavor to design some quilt patterns. We shall see. I mean, I design knitting patterns. Why not quilts, right? So anyway, yeah, I basically went on to, you know, the fabric designer's website and, you know, just did screenshots of all the fabric swatches that were in this layer cake, uploaded them to the program, created the quilt block that was in my Missouri Star quilt pattern, and just rearranged everything within the program. And I was able to create a mock-up of what my finished quilt top would look like. And my gosh, guys, this was so incredibly helpful. Yes, I could have used my floor to lay everything out, but, you know, I was working with so many small half-square triangles. And if you have pets, I mean, I have a cat, letting that sit out for an extended period of time, it wouldn't last, guys. Even if I took a photo, I would have to sit down and go, you know, little tiny half squared triangles, guys. It wasn't going to happen. So, you know, while I will say this program was an investment, I did have a coupon code, so I did get a very nice discount on it. I'll leave a link to it down below if you want to check it out for yourself. But, you know, I would say it's worth its weight in gold. So not sponsored at all. But, you know, if you don't have the space and, you know, you want to get into quilting and, you know, you need something to help you, you know, plan your quilt tops, I mean, this program, you know, again, learning curve, but it's amazing. I am a fan. So anyway, yeah, so that is my Lady of the Lake quilt top. And, you know, the process of putting this together, was definitely a mind bender because, again, you're working with all this entire thing. Again, half square triangles. I've learned half square triangles are not my favorite to make and work with. They're just, it's a little tedious, not gonna lie. And just keeping all the triangles correctly oriented. I mean, as Jenny in her video tutorial for this pattern, links below, she mentioned that she got very friendly with her seam ripper. I did as well. So, you know, just a little heads up. If you do decide to tackle this pattern, be patient with yourself. Make sure everything is, you know, correct before you sew it. What's the saying? Measure twice, cut once. Yeah, there was a lot of measuring 3 times, cutting 5 times, cussing a million times with this one. But anyway, we made it work. We have a finished quilt top. And I will say, like my Cozy Cabins quilt, I'm not in a rush to quilt this right away. Yeah, just because I don't have anyone to gift it to. I don't need another giant quilt at the moment. And, you know, yeah, it's not something that I want to decorate my home with per se. But, you know, again, like this, I think right now, these are all practice, you know, just for me to hone my quilting skills, try different quilt blocks out. And yeah, these, you know, it's just, I think it's nice to just have a nice pile of quilt tops at the ready. So, you know, again, if you do have like a birthday or, you know, an event or something where you need a gift for somebody, you know, you can just grab a quilt top, quilt it and gift it, you know? So I think that's what I'm thinking for these quilt tops, that I'm not like rushing to quilt, if you will. Though I do want to point out that, you know, quilting is an investment. It's not cheap. You know, the cost of materials can go up, and I'm, you know, quickly realizing that. I mean, duh, you know, like I'm making all these quilts and I'm like, you know, let's, you know, maybe I should dial it back. But the cool thing about quilting is not all quilts have to be big. There are so many smaller quilting projects that you can do, which I'm starting to look into. Of course, you can make lap quilts, you can make baby quilts, but you can also make wall hangings or little tiny, you know, like quilting moments in your house, you know? You can make placemats, and you can make mug rugs, which are my new favorite because I whipped up a couple mug rugs, guys. So anyway, I was watching a YouTube channel. I can't remember which one it was, but I actually really like her channel. I'll, you know, link to it down below, pop it in the down bar. But she did a video on, you know, blindly ordering fabric scraps online, because yeah, you can order fabric scrap bundles. A lot of times fabric shops have these leftover remnants that they don't know what to do with, so they wrap them up and bundle them up and then sell them. And if you go on Amazon, if you just search fabric scrap bundle, there's a whole selection of fabric scraps that you can order, and they do it by designer. And I ordered one from Ruby Star Society, and to my surprise, when it arrived in the mail, it was all Halloween prints, and I was so excited. And for $25 a pop, they send you about 2 yards of 1/4 yard fabric strips. So very, very versatile. Like if you're into scrappy projects, I mean, definitely check those out. So I was pleasantly surprised, and when I was looking through them, I was thinking, okay, Halloween's coming up. I have some friends coming over later in the week to hang out and knit. Let me whip up some mug rugs for them. So I hopped on Etsy and looked for some mug rug PDFs. I should mention, if you don't know what a mug rug is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a rug for your mug. So it's a coaster, essentially. It's just a funny name for it. And the pattern that I decided to make is called the Churn Mug Rug by Annie's Quilt Craft. And I think it was like $4 US. Again, links all below. But yeah, just a really fun, quick quilt project. And it's called the Churn Dash because it has the Churn Dash block in it, a block that I have never made, but I am a fan. I am a fan. It does use half square triangles, but not to the extent that the Lady of the Lake quilt used. So yeah, it was just a quick dip your toes into half square triangles, and the rest is all just smooth sailing. And it's seriously, guys, the perfect scrap buster. I mean, I made one of these mug rugs. One of these mug rugs took maybe about 45 minutes to an hour to whip up. I mean, talk about super quick, and what a great gift idea. And this project was also a great way for me to hone my machine quilting skills. As you know, I did purchase a new Juki sewing machine. I'm looking at it behind the camera. It's the TL 2010Q. And, you know, because I've been getting into quilting, I've also been practicing my free motion quilting. And for this project, I used my walking foot. So I didn't, you know, do any free motion quilting with this project. So I just used the walking foot to make some straight diagonal lines to stitch in the ditch, and then do some kind of fun wavy gravy lines on the other side on the edge of the quilt. So really fun. You know, highly recommend it if you are looking for a quick, easy quilting project. And speaking of beginner-friendly quilt patterns, I actually have a tutorial coming out for you guys. I'm not sure if I mentioned this on the last episode, but I'll mention it here again. I'm still in the midst of editing it. I was hoping to get it out this week, but life, work, it's been a little crazy, so hoping to get it out by next week for you guys. But I am going to show you how to make this quilt right here. So it's a lot of fun, guys. I'll stand back so you can see. Yeah, just a very small, I mean, call it a baby blanket, call it a cat quilt, which this is what I'm calling it because I've gifted it to Bella. It could be a wall hanging, but yeah, just a very easy, quick, I mean, I could whip this up in, I wouldn't say under like maybe 3 hours. I made this quilt just by using a charm pack. So one whole charm pack, you just sew all the squares together and boom, you have a quilt, a really fun one too. So yeah, the tutorial is going to take you through all the steps from start to finish, you know, like how to arrange your fabric, how to piece them together. I show you how to make a quilt sandwich. I show you how to quilt your quilt. Just a very simple, you know, top stitching on either side of each seam. And then I show you how to bind the quilt. So, you know, just a very straightforward, easy pattern. So anyway, still editing that. Again, hoping to get it out on the channel to you next week. And yeah, let me see. Here's what it looks like on the back. It's very blown out, but you know, yeah. And again, I've gifted this to Bella. She loves it. She plays on it, chills on it. I mean, what could be better? So anyway, look at that. I love when quilts are folded up. It's just so nice. So anyway, yeah. All right. I think that is the show. That's all I have to share with you this week. So as always, you know, thank you so much for hanging out with me if you've made it this far. If you're new here and you haven't already, feel free to like and subscribe down below. I'm putting out videos for your viewing pleasure on a regular basis. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can do that by becoming a member. Just click the join button down below this video or on the main homepage of this channel. And for the price of a monthly fancy schmancy cup of coffee, you can unlock some bonus features from yours truly, including my mini waffles, which are very casual weekly vlogs where I just catch you up on what I'm getting up to, behind the scenes type of things, and just, you know, generally what's happening up here in the noggin. So, all right, guys, have an amazing rest of your weekend, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.